Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Innovator Insights podcast. This is the podcast where we interview successful consumer product entrepreneurs and talk to them about their journey, how they went from their initial idea to finally creating a product and a business with a real impact on the world. And this week, we're super excited to have Pallavi Pandey with us. She is the founder and owner of Detox. Maybe not spelled as you think, but we'll go get into that. And it's disposable tableware made from naturally fallen palm leaves. A very sustainable product. The company has an awesome mission, and we'll talk more about that. But let's jump into it. Without further ado, welcome, Pallavi.
Thank you so much, Henrik. And would you like to know the meaning of my name?
Yes, I would love to. What a great start.
Thank you. And I'd love to tell our audience Pallavi in my Indian cultural language, because I was born in India, actually means leaf.
Oh,
And this is
wow.
something I found out a couple of years ago, like maybe 3 years ago, when I was just Googling what does my name mean. And it meant leaf, which means I met my calling. And I was so excited
Yes,
to hear
indeed.
that because, like you said, my mission is to rescue palm leaves and turn them into tableware because I'm on a mission to replace everybody's nasty single-use disposable tableware. So the brand name
That's
is Detox.
Detox. And how do you spell it for
It's
our
a
audience?
the word. It is DTOCS. It
Yeah.
is. It echoes with the meaning: cleansing journey of the nasty single-use disposables.
Yep. And I also see that you received a bunch of different awards. You're a Tory Burch Fellow, U.S. Top 100 Business. Would love to learn more about that. But before we go into the business, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do when you're not running Detox? Where do you live? And you already share where you come from. How long have you been in the States?
Sure. So I am a first-gen immigrant, been in the U.S. for more than 19 years now. I came here at the age of 22, right after I got married. Then I went to the Ohio State University. I got a master's in electrical engineering. And then 10 years, I actually worked in logistics and supply chain. That was my background. And knowing all that information and hands-on experience in the supply chain, I was motivated to start my own business. And I was like, you know what? I know a lot about how to ship stuff, how to move stuff, how to bring products in and out, and what to look for when you're working with supplier vendors, wholesale. So it came very handy to me, my hands-on experience from the last
Yep.
10 years. And then I am an entertainer. I love to host. I love to host parties.
Oh,
And
great.
I often found myself consuming those paper plates, the stack of 200 plates from Costco. So
Uh,
I was consuming all of those in a month, and I was going through this huge trash pile. And that was that light bulb moment for me one day. And I was like,
yeah.
what am I doing? What can we do to host more responsibly? Or what are some of the ways we can improve our footprint on this earth as a human being? And that gave me the idea of going back to my cultural roots of eating on leaves back in India. So, a question to you, Henrik, have you ever visited India?
I have a couple of times actually.
Okay, so when
Again, but we have teams that manages our factory relationship all over the world. So I've been to Chennai and I've been to New Delhi a couple of times.
Okay. So when you're in Chennai, tell me this is something you remember in your memories whenever you're in the southern part of India, especially,
Yeah,
you get served food on a banana leaf, even today.
yeah. I think we saw that on the beach. They were grilling things on the beach under a live fire, and that was magical. We were down there by sunset, and there were horses, and it was
Beautiful.
really, really fantastic.
Yeah, so that's what stood by me, my Indian culture of eating on leaves. And that is something I carried with me, and I built my brand around that nostalgia. Because even when we go back today to India, especially in the southern part, if you're attending any South Asian wedding, if you're going to a restaurant, don't be alarmed because they still serve food on banana leaf. They don't use plates. And on top of that, they want you to use your fingers and eat the food.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have a fun picture of my daughter when we went to India a couple of years ago, and she was asked to use her fingers to eat, and she was like, "Ew, no!" So she requested for a spoon, and she has a smirk, and that's a picture I have of her that I've captured for a lifetime because I use it on my pitch deck, saying, "This is my daughter having the same enjoyable cultural moment like I had when I was growing up."
That's amazing. What a great connection, and with your name too. That's Magical. So tell us about the product. So you started 2019, I think.
Yes.
How did you know that, oh, I'm going to make plates from leaves? That was part of the concept from day one?
Absolutely no. I didn't even know I'm
No.
going to become a serial entrepreneur because I
Yeah.
had my very, very first business, like an experiment that I was trying for an online jewelry company. My company was called Imans, and this was like back in
Yeah.
2011, long time
Okay.
back. Yeah, and this was like Internet Diamonds. So the company was called Imans, and I was working with, again, coming from my background of logistics, supply chain, warehousing, I knew a lot of wholesaler jewelers. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take the wholesale jewelry and sell it to women because women love jewelry. And in that process, I realized I'm not a person who wears a lot of jewelry. I don't spend on jewelry. I can barely sell any jewelry because I don't even buy jewelry.
Yeah.
So that was a learning experience that I'm trying to build around a business where it doesn't speak to me. I'm not a fan of jewelry. So I quit that business after some learnings because I had invested in some wholesale jewelry pieces, but then I found a way to strategically place that in my Indian family. It's like every time you go back to India, you take gifts for people. So I
Yeah.
utilize everything that I had invested in the business towards family and friends. So
To
that
buy you some goodwill at least with the
yeah,
family.
but that came as a expensive learning because those pieces were not cheap. They were
Yeah.
expensive, but it was again strategic placement within family members. So it just totally made sense.
Yeah.
So that was
So
the first.
let me just pause for a second because I think something you said there was is so important, and I see it. It's like a lot of people start a company because they want to start a company, and
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that
Mhm.
necessarily. But if you're just starting it to make money or to be an entrepreneur, and you don't really have anything that you're super passionate about,
Absolutely.
it's hard to be successful because starting a business is hard,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of sleepless nights and challenges, and there's got to be something more that drives you than just that I want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Or I want
And
to sell stuff. Like, again, like you said, starting something could come handy and easy, but carrying it all the way, making it sustainable so that sales happen, you'll never be a good salesman if you can't advocate for something. So I
yeah,
can't sell something that I don't believe in. I'm not going to
yeah,
use it. I know that, right? So if
yeah,
I can't use it, I can't sell it. So
yeah,
again, practice what you preach, right? So that was a hard learning for me. And in that experience, I actually learned a lot about myself, which was if I've given a choice between a piece of jewelry and travel, I'll always pick travel. No
yeah,
matter how expensive it is, I will not mind spending on that travel versus I'll mind spending on that piece of jewelry. So again, self-reflecting moments that I learned a lot from that experience. Then
that's
going
great.
forward, thank you. Going forward into 2012, when my first child was born, I was going through a lot of postpartum depression. And I just didn't know how couples bounce back. What do they do? Like, how do they go through this phase? Because culturally, we never taught about it, we never told about it, we can't talk about it. So we are not prepared what is coming to us. And
Yeah,
in that journey, I felt very lonely. And I remember in that year, there were a lot of beauty subscription boxes trending. So some of the beauty boxes trending names were Ipsy, Birchbox, Allure Box. And every month I used to subscribe to them for $10, get a handful of samples in beauty products. So that gave me the new idea of my new business launch. So
yeah,
I launched a company called Dew Club, like the French word dew, meaning two, meaning couples. And this was like a handmade, handcrafted, premium intimacy boxes for couples. And again, it came very natural because I knew wholesalers in lingerie and adult toys and all kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, sourcing is easy for me. Can I sell this? Okay, maybe. But what I
yeah,
didn't think through this time was the compliance when it comes to adult toys and these kind of products. There's a lot of health and safety compliance that I then
yeah,
came through, right? So now the returns became a challenge portion. So that was again a learning point. Thankfully,
yeah,
there was no investment in this because it was direct picking products from wholesale and drop shipping them. So that saved me in terms of inventory. But I then realized I had invested a lot in digital world, which is creating a website, going through a lot of designs. But I learned it myself in that journey. So I became wise. I could now design a website and create
yeah.
one if I had to.
So that's another amazing learning there, that a pattern I see. Not so much on the podcast, but our work with Gemba. We help entrepreneurs develop products, and it's not infrequent at all that someone comes with a great product that's sort of health related, that may require FDA approval, and they have not thought about that really. They haven't budgeted for it. It can be very expensive and take a long time. So they might have invested a lot of money in a pretty design and great branding. And then, they hit reality of that this product's not coming. It's going to take you $1 million to get it to market.
Yes, and that's the thing. We don't think about these little things, something we're putting inside our body, on our body. And we forget those little compliance issues, which is like, oh, I would need the certification. So you can invest time, but it also takes a lot of time to get through those processes and those certifications, those testing. So again, that was a great learning. And that's for any food or food-related product. I always say FDA compliance is a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving forward.
So how long did you run that company? Or I guess it never really took off.
So we did have a nice website. We started getting people's emails. We started getting subscriptions. We actually made our one first or second sale, but then since we didn't think about the returns, how do returns work in this situation, we had to pause the business after 1 month of starting it. So that was a bummer, definitely. So the third time, I took a long break. I moved to Oregon from Ohio, and my kids were at that time old enough. It was 2019, and like I said, I was enjoying a lot. I was entertaining a lot, and I was going through these piles and piles of cheap paper, toxic plastics, and the regular Chinaware. So I literally became the chief dishwashing officer, and I didn't want to carry that title anymore, and I wanted to break from that, and that's when I connected my 10 years of experience in logistics to my brand, to my cultural experience of leaves, and that's when I was like, you know what, we're going to go down to India, find our raw material suppliers, and start manufacturing this. Because for a reason, I knew that this is a practice that has been going on in India for centuries, eating on leaves. And there are these palm trees. The purpose of the palm trees is to produce areca nuts, or in other words, these palm trees are called betel nut trees because they produce betel nuts. So the nuts are something that are consumed in the Middle Eastern countries and the Asian countries as mouth fresheners because they coat the betel nuts with mint. And sometimes they go one level above, which is they coat them with tobacco if people want to consume them with tobacco. Because I remember growing up, my grandma used to eat tobacco. So it was very common in my home. But anyway, I hate tobacco. Well, I've even tried it. But that said, when the trees, they are done with producing betel nuts, the leaves fall down. And that becomes the raw material because we start gathering them, we start heat compressing them just under a big ironing machine, just like you iron your clothing. And that's how you design. What shape do you want to create? Do you want to create a round, a heart shape? So you can do so much of innovations right there and patent your products depending on what shape you design. And then you just bring the products from India in containers and then market them and sell it to consumers like event planners, wedding planners, charcuterie makers, caterers, chefs, restaurants, food service, schools, hospitals, like wherever you think you can have a soft replacement for compostables now that the world is trying to shift and move from paper and plastics.
Yeah, great. Can you tell us a little more about what the process was? I mean, of course you have connections in India, so it was probably easier for you than the average American to go there and figure this out. But still, I assume there was a bit of a process to figure out how do you go from this concept to actually finding a factory.
Yes.
And
So we
can you
had
talk
to,
a little about
yeah, we had to do a deep dive 6-month research on supplier vendors and excuse me, which supplier we wanted to manufacture with and why. We had to go and see the ethical sourcing, what kind of farms they have. Is it fair trade? Do they have do we have a say on the employees if you want to hire women workforce and if you want to hire 90% women workforce? So who are those vendors who will let us make those decisions together? And this is going to be a collaborative partnership, not like a one-time, like I buy a product and that's it. No, I want to build this relationship, which means let's talk about B Corp certification. Let's talk about putting water fountains. What can we do together? What kind of certifications, compliance? Like So we had to do a deep dive this time from all our experiences. So we made sure we touched on every point and again had it on paper so that everything is clear, communicative. And then we were able to increase our number of supply vendors from going from one to five
Oh,
in
wow.
these past years because we grew in our numbers, we grew in our offerings because one supplier could only make one shape because of the limited capacity of machineware or let's say the labor. So that's how we had to partner. And when we say partner, it was not something we did without meeting them. There was a process which was meeting the people in the factory, visiting the factories, visiting the employees, asking them if they're happy working there, the conditions, and how can we help them, which is can we
Yeah.
provide rations? Can we provide COVID vaccines? Can we provide education scholarships to your children? So, like a mutual partnership between us and the supplier and making it into beneficial for our workers so that they are not quitting and they're happy doing this manufacturing for us. Because, again, without
Yeah.
them, we could have never scaled this way. Because then we were
Yeah.
able to scale in the last 7 years into 3 continents. Now we sell in US,
That's
Canada,
amazing.
and Europe.
Yeah. Before we go to the scaling part, I mean, I think that there's so much to learn from you in that experience because I think a lot of folks starting out, they're looking for a factory, like more of a transactional relationship, and they seem to think maybe that they're replaceable. You find one in Alibaba or India Mart, and you place a purchase order, you get it back. But I think you took the right approach because these are the people that are making your product, and often, they're not perfect from day one, but if you find the right partner and you work with them, you
Yes,
identify things. They want to improve, they want to be successful, they want
exactly.
you to stay with them, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't take that long-term approach up front. It's wonderful to hear that you did that.
Thank you. And I think I was able to do that because I was supported and backed up by Fast 100 companies, advisors in Lean Six Sigma
All
and
right.
lean strategies and transformation. So when we talk about lean, we're talking about building systems. And like you said, these supply
Yeah.
vendors didn't come with all these systems that we have today, but they were
Yeah.
open to adopting, evolving, adjusting.
Hmm.
And so were we. Like, let's work with what we have where we are, but this is what we will require in order to scale and grow together. So it was not
Hmm.
transactional at all. And like I said, it's like a 911 call number that I have for my supply vendors on my phone. And we talk every month, we do Zoom calls, we do team meetings. So it's interactive, it's engaging, and we even go and pay them visits whenever we want. I've taken my daughters and build that relationship with them where they've invited us and we've all had food with our fingers on the leaves together. Whether you're
Yeah.
CEO or not, whether you're the owner or not, everybody treated fair and equal because we are all are working towards the same goal and mission of making this world a better place.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. That's great. So you travel there, you build a relationship, you get your first orders. How did you go to market initially? Was it through
Yeah, so
online or
2019.
other channels?
So 2019 is when we launched, and when I say launch meant everything was online. We were doing pop-ups, trade shows, and I did my very first trade show within 1 month of launching.
Oh yeah,
August
great.
is when we launched, and then 2019 September we went to the Expo West, the Natural Products Expo West that
Yeah,
happens in
I've been
Anaheim,
there.
the largest expo for CPG products, consumer product goods. And guess what? We won the Nexty Award, which is the
Wow.
biggest award in retail anybody can have. And that was the biggest surprise factor for us. We got the Nexty Award for the most innovative product, sustainable product of the year. And then that gave me the hope that, okay, I'm going to become viral in America. I'm going to be in every retail store.
Yeah.
But none of that happened. And I'll tell you what
No.
happened after that. No, absolutely none of that happened because even today, fast forward after 7 years, we're only in one retailer. That is
Oh really?
also in Oregon, a small retail called Market of Choice. It has 11 locations, and that is we are there by choice. And I'll give you the reasoning or the journey of why this is there
Yeah.
today. Why are we not in retail? So what happened was 2019, now we thought, okay, buyers are going to pick us up. We're going to get procurement. We're going to be on every shelf. And then we started focusing a lot on retail, which meant I was on every retail call you can imagine, every demo call. We were spending on samples left and right, sending people free this, free that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something I quite didn't enjoy the process because samples sometimes can become very overwhelming. You're not talking about one box. You talk about like send us if you have 40 products, 40 catalog. Like it gets expensive, but again, brands do have to have a budget for sampling. That's what I'm trying to make a point, especially if you're trying to get into retail. And then you're
Yeah.
investing time getting to these buyer meetings. They are consuming, and there's not a lot of perfection when you start them because you don't have a pitch deck, you don't have your pitch ready. Buyers have
Yeah.
a short attention span, 30 minutes, I'm sorry, 30 seconds, and they're going to write it on a piece of paper, and then they're going to forget you, and it's on you. You
Yeah.
have to follow up. You have to have your capability statements. You have to have your sell sheet. And I had no clue any about it. And I was running behind retail, the world of retail. Anyway, what did I learn? 2020 happened. And then our containers that we were ordering were stuck somewhere in Jamaica and some other countries for 6 months.
Oh,
6 months,
geez.
and we had zero sales until June of 2020. And
So you
that was,
basically had to close the store out of stock.
yeah. And I was like, okay, we are not making any sales, $0 revenue. Then I had something, or I would say a lot of businesses had something in 2020, which was a lot of time to think through, to reflect through what is going to be the strategy. I went into one strategy, which was we're going to sell online. We're going to focus on e-commerce in this world. Why? Because people are scared to go outside. People don't want to step out. People want everything at their door, on their doorstep, in their pajamas. It's more sanitary, cross contamination is less. So we were getting all these reasonings. All we had to do is execute our e-commerce strategy. So we took all this time and launched on Amazon. Amazon Seller Central, Amazon Business, Amazon Vendor
Yeah.
Central. So there are these three selling platforms on Amazon. It's just not one, it's not two, it's three selling platforms on Amazon. So every CPG product owner, if you make products, if you're trying to get on e-commerce, Amazon is what I recommend people because it opens three doors at a time. Amazon
Yeah.
Seller Central is when you go on your phone and you order. Amazon Business is for business accounts. Let's say if I'm an event planner, I don't want to go shopping to a store, but I want everything dropped at my door. I'm going to go on Amazon Business, check out everything at wholesale business pricing, and get it shipped to my door.
Yeah.
The third one is Amazon Vendor Central, and with that, I have a story to share because this is an invite-only selling platform. And the way you can get in is Amazon vets you as a product owner. And if Amazon decides they want to become your vendor, which means Amazon starts buying your product, they'll start buying in volumes, they'll start buying in containers. The
Yeah.
good thing about this is they will buy your own brand, which means they don't ask you to white label. They don't ask you to change anything about your packaging. It's your product. They just start buying. And the POs, purchase orders, come every Monday. So there are 4 purchase orders every month, and they can range between $500 to $50,000.
Jeez.
So now that brings you stability. It brings you a lot of projections you can do, and you can start planning your business to scale now once you're in this portal. And again, I didn't know anything about it, but when I went to the trade show in 2019, where I got the Nexi Award,
Yeah.
where I got vetted by Amazon
Got it.
to be a vendor for them on Amazon Vendor Central. And then it took me 1 year to establish that relationship, and 2020 is when I launched on Amazon Vendor Central. So
And by then you were starting to get product again.
absolutely, we were bringing products in, and we were sending it to Amazon, and we made 100K sales by the end of 2020, from
That's
0
great.
to 100K in 6 months, just by being on Amazon and focusing on this e-commerce channel. So now that gave me a hope. Okay, now let's start focusing. So we now started pumping a lot of resources, time to Amazon business accounts, Amazon Vendor Central, and Amazon Seller Central. So it took us 3 years to literally come to a profitability point on Amazon and really scale it volume wise. So instead of doing one container, now we were doing one container every month with all these 3 portals just
Yeah.
on one channel. So now I thought, okay, now let's replicate that on Walmart. Let's replicate that on Wayfair, Etsy, Fair, e-commerce. Because all we had to focus was these portals, getting on our listings and SEOs, and the same process, right? But a different strategy for every
Yeah.
channel. And then came social media, free social media, and all this time to create wonderful content, sit down and create something. And that's what we started doing. I literally started all of our social media, whether it was Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, all during COVID. We never had any social media before that, but we had time. So now we started driving awareness, traffic, funnels of like bringing clicks and impressions, and then finally converting them into our channels of interest, which was Amazon and our website. So we also heavily then invested on a good Shopify website.
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
all made sense. We became a seven-figure brand in our fourth year. We became America's top 100 business by US Chamber of Commerce for our customer values, for our experience, because we're not just selling a plate. We tell our customer, once you're done eating on this plate, we'd love you to do three things. First, if you have a pet, give it to your pet. They love to chew on it, whether it's a cat, dog, or a rabbit. Throw it in your backyard because the rabbits will come out and they'll start nibbling on it. So we started getting pictures and videos from our customers saying, "Oh, we are having a rabbit barbecue party in our backyard." So these were some of the amazing customer stories that we started seeing. And we started seeing videos of a pit bull ripping apart our plate in like 5 seconds and having fun with it like a pet toy. So we were not only just selling plates, but we were helping people have these memorable moments, like an experience. And then some people were putting it in their backyard garden and being like, "Oh my God, this disappeared in 3 months." And we were like, exactly. It's a leaf. It goes back to nature in 90 days. And then I started
Wow.
making content about all of this, which was we were doing a lot of gardening. So we would use our own plates or bowls as seed starters and put it
Yeah.
in the backyard. And then after 3 months, it's gone.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then we were doing a lot of camping, I remember, during those days, and we were putting it in the fire pit because it's a great fire starter.
So were those the three things? Give it to your pet, plant it outside, or use
Fire
this
pit.
fire pit? That's
Yeah,
great.
and that's what sparked more ideas, which was like, you know what? Let's partner with a lot of glamping camping companies. So then we started partnering with a local company here called Camp Yoshi in Oregon, and they take African American people on these world experiences of glamping, where they started using our tableware, and at the end there was no trash bag, right?
That's
Because we
amazing.
would put everything in the campfire. And
Yeah.
then we started getting ideas for our event planners. Like if you're doing an event, have a fire pit at the end and turn it into an activity. So again, these were such good customer experiences or stories that helped us define our customer values, and that's why we received the top 100 business award. And then we grew our sales every year, doubled it. That's why we got the INC 250 Female Founders Award, which meant like the fastest growing 250 female companies in a year. That was in 2024. And then we got the Stevie's Gold Award in 2025. And then there are so many other accolades that we
Yeah.
get because of our
That's
service.
amazing. So how big is your team today?
Our team is pretty small. It's me, and we have a full-time manager in India, the operations guy. We have a we have an advisor from the Fast 100 companies, and then my kids are the social media content creators.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So pretty small team, but very effective and lean because we built our systems and processes, and it's very natural if you automate things, and it becomes easier for you to not focus on these little things which consume most of your time. Especially with the AI world today, it has become very helpful. And something that happened beyond this, after all these years, when a lot of my friends who were doing farmers markets, pop-ups, trade shows with me, they started seeing my growth on Amazon, and they were like, "Can you help us on our Amazon? We only trust you because you've gone through it, you've done it all." And
Yeah.
here's the money. This is what I did. I established my second company called Detox Consulting, which is a boutique Amazon service firm for other CPG founders, people who have
Yeah.
make products. So now we help other founders, and it's going to be 2 years next month for us with our Amazon boutique firm. It's called Detox Consulting.
That's amazing. And what kind of customers do you target there? Is it a certain revenue number, or do you charge like traditional agency?
No, absolutely not. We don't do anything that the traditional agency do. And the reason was, I remember I was trying to do Google Ads in 2024, and I was recommended a local Google agency by a friend, and I had gotten good reviews, but it didn't work for us. And I remember I paid an invoice for 20 grand for 6 months for two conversions. And that's when I realized that we don't want to work as agencies. I like transparency. I like upfront challenges. I like to set expectations that this is a strategic channel, it requires your time and money. This is not something that makes you profitable in the first year. So it takes
Yeah.
this much time, and this is your investment. If you want to go forward with it, we are here to help you and also empower you with all this data. So agencies give you your data reports, but they don't have time to go over with you of what's working, what's not, and explaining everything to you. Like my hypothesis is X as an agency owner. I will make sure I communicate that to you and I tell you and I validate why it was successful or why it wasn't, and then what is our strategy B to go forward.
Right.
So
Yeah.
those are the little things we do as a boutique agency, or I don't like the word agency, but I call
Yeah.
ourselves a boutique firm. So now this is what I do. I also sit on internal and external panels on Amazon, which is I not only go as a boutique firm owner, but also as an operator mindset owner, because I also am an Amazon seller. And I give a lot of feedback to Amazon with what is working on their portals, what is not working, what do we need to see as sellers, what do we need things to get better, whether it's calling the customer service, filing claims for 30 days and not having any sales moved because your customer service is taking time. So I sit on their internal panels within Amazon's teams now to give them feedback, as well as I sit on external panels to go represent myself as an Amazon seller, because literally that is my bread and butter. Even if I look at my data today, 90% of my customers buy us on Amazon Business, Amazon Vendor, Amazon Seller, because of XYZ reasons. And I've had some of our vineyard friends locally here from Oregon, which is like, don't mind, I have an event tomorrow. I'm short on 100 plates. I'm just going to order it on Amazon because I'm going to get it for free prime shipping tomorrow. I'm like, please go
Yeah.
ahead. So I'm just saying there's this transparency and there's this relationship where they're not scared and they'll communicate and say, hey, I'm just sending an Uber. Can you just put the order in there? I'm like, really? So there'll be an Uber who'll come and I'll just put the order in there and it'll take it to my local customer. So I've had people with all these amazing credibility and trust
Yeah.
without.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to run out of time here. It's so inspiring to hear your story. It's so exciting to see. I mean, I'm an engineer myself and a background in supply chain, and it's pretty rare to see someone like yourself, because most people start with a product, with a brand, with some idea about that, and you really come at it with a deep understanding of supply chain and supplier partnerships and logistics and all that stuff. So it's great to see, and
Thank
there's
you.
no wonder you've been successful.
Thank you. And I did a lot of market research when I was launching my brand detox for the products, because I was like, how many people are there like me who love to entertain, who hate doing dishes, who get bothered when we change those trash bags? So I started doing a lot of surveys and a lot of market research. And I remember this was 2017 when I was doing my research, and I couldn't find a lot of sustainable alternatives in those days. And I was only seeing Germany as being one of the leading countries in sustainability, or even at that time, I remember Australia had some sustainable alternatives, but America. And I was like, why? Why is this gap there? And if there is, let me be that person bridging this, because I have experience in the back end and the front end, and I can do this. I can try this. So I started with a small experiment because I was like, what if I fail? So okay, fail fast, learn from it. I wasn't scared of failure at that time, trust me. So I only got like half a container of product and I sold it out in a month. So that was a big validation of, okay, I'm heading
Yeah.
in the right direction with the right market, the right consumer, with the right product. The learning that came in this journey was like, if I want to offer a heart-shaped plate, doesn't mean the customer wants a heart-shaped plate. So that back and forth, the feedback, what kind of product do you need? So that helped us in launching a lot more new shapes and designs, because it's not what I want to sell, it's about what the customer wants. What problem does that sauce bowl will save if it has a partition? Maybe it'll keep the savory
Yeah.
away from a sweet, and maybe that's what caterers need. So again,
Yeah.
talking of like, what do you need? We need containers with lids, we need container with a bento box, we need containers with portions. So all of that really helped us launch our products every year and come to this point where now we have 40 different SKUs, and we not only have palm leaf products, but we also have bamboo fiber products that we added last year from China.
That's awesome. How much is B2B versus B2C?
So we have 40% businesses versus 60%
Okay.
direct to consumers still. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a great mix too.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, two quick questions. One, what are you excited about here? We're in May of 2026. What are you excited about for the rest of the year? And second, any advice you would give to our listening wannabe entrepreneurs or early stage entrepreneurs?
Yes, the advice, let's start with the advice, which is don't invest heavily in the products. Like start small. That's my first tip. And if you're experiment, give yourself a timeline because even if you have 100 pieces of something, for example, and if you give 10 years, you're never going to find out. So keep yourself in a timeline. Like I give myself 6 months and I have to make sure I sell out these 100 pieces in this with this way and try those different strategies and ways and then figure out which is your winning product, which is your winning strategy, which is your winning platform and focus there. So that is going to be my advice. And then the question you said, what am I excited for? Is we are launching in Europe this year. It's already been 6 months of a very, very deep compliance and whatnot in the European market. So launching in Europe is the hardest, but I'm so glad I'm going through it today. I don't want to go through it later down the years because I'll lose my head then. I'll sweat over it. Right now, I think I have good network resources so I can get through this. It's already been 8 months since our launch is stuck at 80%. We still have 20 more percent to go through with this launch. So that's what I'm excited about because I'll be done for all. And then we are ready to make some sales in Europe.
Yeah. And you're doing that via Amazon too?
Yes, we are launching through Amazon, but then we're also going to open it to our Shopify website because there's a whole new difference, tax compliance, FDA compliance, talk about it, certifications, the labels, like even the language on the label. Like I have to squeeze in 6 languages on my label in Europe. So nobody
crazy.
told me that, and I would have, frankly speaking, I wouldn't have chosen Europe if I knew that this process was this hard. I would have picked UK because UK you can just get away with the English label, which we already have here. But I don't think I would change my choice because I would rather get through this now than next year. I'll be in a better place next year.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I look forward to see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be successful.
Thank you.
Pallavi, thank you so much for your time and sharing so openly about your journey. So many great lessons. And best of luck with what's next in 2026.
Thank you very much for having me. This was very fun conversation and I appreciate you.
Thank you.